I think if you can even ask me today on whether Blessed Geza revolution is done or not, I can actually tell you, even when I'm sleeping, that the revolution is far from being over. The revolution of Blessed Geza is still on as long as Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is in power. The moment it would actually disappear, it would be the moment Mnangagwa would be removed from power. Mark my words. On that one, I'm very, very certain. So Temba Mliswa has begun to, continues to launch, not begin actually, continues to launch of attacks on the Blessed Geza revolution, as well as retired General Chiwenga, and also not leaving out the supporters of Blessed Geza, as well as the supporters of retired General Chiwenga. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlone Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button. It's you know, I would try to be actually as fast as possible, because he wrote a very long essay, and we have to put these things on record for the future. You see, this would be referenced in the future to come. So he writes Subbook's I 20 hours ago and says the aftermath of a fake revolution. So fake revolution is referring to the revolution of Blessed Geza. In the aftermath of the opposition imploding, that's Temba Mliswa, into smithereens, jumping provided respite and a glint of achieving what they failed on their own. Thus, the factional cabal that was initially fronted by Sekuru Geza, but owned by internal players in Zanopf, gathered stream promptly, not because it was premised on anything of substance, but because an orphaned group adopted so much false revolution, uprising, and whatever sanitary to capture the criminal acts of a few can lead to anything of substance. So that's Temba Mliswa saying that it has since lost the imported energy texted into the country through those in the diaspora. The many epochal events which were supposed to be the end of the president have come and gone, not to spite anyone, but to state the facts. The ZANU-PF conferences come and gone. Takwirei was finally co-opted. The manufactured demonstrations failed, and even the Sona Zesa drama, with all its suspicious assassination angles in the past news. How people who peddle themselves as Democrats can be so invested in a treasonous project seeking to usurp power from an elected president is not just damning, but betrays how much of our politics is mere theater. There are too many politicians playing to the gallery of their true objectives. The very splintering of CCC betrays this, while fence-sitters in ZANU-PF, so quickly invested in a saving cause, also fit the pattern. It's also shocking how so many people could so easily be swayed by an online tantrum as to religiously buy data to gather and gulp the rumblings. Others even invested money to try and cook a demonstration. However, it found no resonance with the public. Some in ZANU-PF were sitting on the fence, ready to jump to the other side, are now seeking to crawl back into line. Silly chanting ET 2030, they now want to act like nothing happened. It did, and we were found out. On my part, the vanquished are now contriving to craft false stories about me attacking Chiwenga and his wife. Show me where I did that. Yo, Temba Mliswa is a flip-flop. This guy smoke. What do you smoke, man? I'm yet to come after you after reading this nonsense that you wrote, thinking you are so smart. Temba Mliswa is a stupid of not. I never wanted to use this word, but The guy is very silly. How do you say that when you just did so and it's there on your social media account, and you are still commenting more crimes that would be on you? Show me where I did that, and I will show you how you simply lack comprehension skills. Listen, now it's lack of this idiot. I have asked the same of those who say I have defended criminals from being arrested or investigated. No one has managed to do that because I have done such thing. It's all in your heads. Any national leader should be held to account, and I'm simply doing that. Who are you? You are not even in parliament, you are putted out. If anyone, there are others whom I have left out, they can also. I'm not a superman after all. As a village head, a traditional father of the community, it's imperative that I speak out where I see a national peace under a threat. Your national ID as a chief and a village of origin for a reason. Where do you see the president's or VP's name on your ID? That shows you the eminence of the traditional leader above every other public office. I think he was trying to say officer. To all those crawling to me, messaging me to turn down and stop the war, you should know that I was never in any war. It was only war to the prisoners who have now been defeated. But to traditional leaders like myself, it's about bringing order to the national village. Those who were actually in war can be seen by how they bent down my village home in Shuruki. I have simply been doing what is expected of a traditional leader or patriotic citizen, defending the national leader. The incumbent national leader should be protected at all times. However, there are still too many T-boys in the system stealing information and giving it to those who they think should grab power. After the frenetic hustling that imploded into a huge nothing, they are now known. Okay, so let me just go to comment, just few comments before I sum up everything. It's so simple. It won't take me even a minute to tell you to sum it up. It's important to read these things for future reference. You said it yourself that cabal was owned by internal players in Zanopf. So let's stop pretending this was some external hijack or opposition stunt. This wasn't treason, it was a reckoning from within. You can call it orphaned, fake, imported, but the truth is it started inside ZANU-PF. That's why it gained traction. That's why it shook fence sitters. That's why you are still talking about it. You mock people for buying data to follow the story. But when citizens care enough to pay attention, that's not foolishness, it's engagement. What unsettles you is that they didn't wait for permission to care. You say the demonstrations failed, the drama passed, and the president endured, but survival isn't vindication. The fact that so many moments struck a nerve shows how fragile the system really is. You say you never attacked the VP or his wife, but your own post dissect her role, her uniform, her influence. That's not silence. That's selective memory. You elevate traditional leaders above elected ones, then demand loyalty to the president. So which is it, democracy or dynasty? This person is cooking Temba Mliswa, because you can't claim constitutional order while undermining the very offices it protects. You say you weren't at war, but when you celebrate the defeat or dissenters, shame fence sitters and chant slogans, you are not keeping peace, you are policing. Terry Swing, oh, that's a good analyst. Very, very good analyst. You've made, this is what we need to read on this channel. If it was actually hogwash, I could have stopped long time ago. So get this, listen to this. You elevate traditional leaders above elected ones. then demand loyalty to the presidents. So which is it? Democracy or dynasty? Because you can't claim constitutional order while undermining the very offices it protects. You say you weren't at war, but when you celebrate defeat, listen to this, of dissenters, shame fence sitters, and chant slogans, you are not keeping fence, you are policing loyalty. And that line about IDs not bearing president's name, that's not proof of traditional supremacy. It's proof that leadership is earned, not inherited. The constitution, not the village register, is what binds the nation. Hey, you want to sound like a father of the nation, but what you are really doing is scolding those who dared to question power. That's not leadership. That's fear of losing control. The real threat to national peace isn't dissent, it's the refusal to confront corruption, even when it wears a familiar. This wasn't a fake revolution, it was a mirror, and your own words are the loudest confession. You know, this person is so smart. This person is so smart. If you are watching this channel, you are so smart and great. Now, let me just conclude this, because this guy actually finished everything that I wanted to say. If you listen to Temba Mliswa, he's a flip-flopper of not. He does something and not acknowledge it. And in the process of speaking, he's actually favoring the other side, not knowingly, because of lack of wisdom. He lacks political wisdom. He lacks actually comprehension, as he says others lacks comprehension. Now, politics is dynamic. I think I have said the reason why people supported the Blessed Geza revolution. I've said it. Blessed Geza stood up when Emerson Mnangagwa was actually playing football alone, and he was about to score. Blessed Geza came alone, and all the Mnangagwa faction and cabal were coming to make sure that if Mnangagwa misses it, they score. But Blessed Geza stood in defense, and what did they do? They ran amok. In fact, Blessed Geza has made the Mnangagwa cabal to triple spend, or I don't know, to spend hundredfold, not even triple spend, hundredfold. They thought that in 2024, maybe to the earliest days of 2025, they would have achieved the 2030 policy. But Blessed Geza came, they ran amok. They have delayed this policy for more than a full good, and we are going into the second year. The policy has not seen the light of the day. Now, you call that a failed revolution, which makes you to spend a lot of money. Blessed Geza made Mnangagwa spend a lot. Blessed Geza made Mnangagwa to build houses for a lot of war veterans. Blessed Geza made Emerson Mnangagwa to actually launch these empowerment programs. They were not there when he was campaigning to extend, initially campaigning to extend his term of office. It was when Blessed Geza spoke, when Mnangagwa all of a sudden decided to care about the war veterans. And by the way, Blessed Geza has never stopped striking. If it wasn't for Blessed Geza, we will not know about the Breaking Barriers document. That old man he single-handedly squeezed Emerson Mnangagwa, and up to today he is screaming, including those who are following him, saying his revolution has failed. I mean, celebrating so early. You are like celebrating the moment the referee point to the penalty spot, but you haven't converted that penalty into a goal. It can still be defended successfully. This is Temba Mliswa celebrating, pointing to the penalty score. But we don't know whether the ball would be put down and later on converted into a score. It's too early for him to make such an assertion. Now, the people of Zimbabwe do not belong. I mean, if you are supporting opposition, politics is dynamic. It doesn't mean that even when political circumstances change, you may not change your support. Politics is dynamic by its very nature. Yeah, we are back again. Apologies. It's network. When I was saying something, the network just cut me off. So I was saying Temba Mliswa is the flip-flopper of North, and I'm sure people have, actually knows Temba Mliswa. So the Blessed Geza revolution is far from being over. In fact, Temba Mliswa is still writing this hogwash because Blessed Geza is still relevant. If he was not relevant, he would not be writing this hogwash about Blessed Geza. They would never be chanting slogans, Pasine Mandu, if those Mandus, those people perceived to be Mandus, are not existing within the political picture of Zanopf. So, also, I think I defended the fact that even the